Jab, 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 Right Hook by Gary Vaynerchuk. Picture a young boxer stepping into the ring for the very first time. The crowd's roaring, lights blazing down, and there's only one thing on his mind, the knockout. That perfect, devastating right hook that'll end it all and crown him champion. So what does he do? He comes out swinging wild right hooks, one after another, every ounce of strength, every drop of hope poured into each punch. But here's the thing. They all miss. Whoosh, whoosh, nothing but air. He's burning energy, getting tired, frustration building. But he never lands a single blow. He's so obsessed with that knockout moment, he's completely forgotten something crucial. He's forgotten the setup, the dance, the beautiful science of boxing. He's forgotten the jabs. Those quick, strategic little punches that don't knock anyone out, but they do everything else that matters. They create openings. They test weaknesses. They build rhythm. They guide your opponent exactly where you need them, so when you finally unleash that powerful right hook, boom, it connects. Now imagine that boxing ring is today's world. It's noisy, chaotic. Everyone's screaming for attention, throwing desperate right hooks everywhere. Buy my stuff. Click here. Look at me. And just like that inexperienced fighter, most of them are missing completely. They're exhausting themselves, confused about why nobody's listening. What if there was a better way, a way to not just be heard, but actually welcomed into people's lives? A way to connect so genuinely that people actually look forward to hearing from you? By the time we're done today, you'll understand the simple yet profound formula for capturing attention and earning trust in our chaotic world. It's a strategy laid out by Gary Vaynerchuk, a true visionary in modern business, in his game-changing book, Jab, 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 Right Hook. Vaynerchuk isn't just another business expert spouting theories. He's a storyteller who sees around corners. He's built massive companies by understanding one elegant truth. Before you can ask for anything, you have to earn that right. You give value, you build relationships, you jab. This book isn't just for marketers. It's for anyone who wants their voice to matter. Whether you're launching a business, chasing a dream, or simply trying to connect more meaningfully with the world. So let's step into the ring and learn this sweet science of storytelling. What exactly is this sweet science Vaynerchuk talks about? It starts with an observation that's almost painfully obvious once you see it. The world has fundamentally transformed. Where do we spend our time now? Where does our attention go? It used to flow to television, radio, newspapers, just a handful of channels where companies could pay to interrupt our lives. 2 for 1, today only, punch. Limited time offer, punch. They could throw right hooks all day because, honestly, we had nowhere else to turn. But then something incredible happened. We all got these little supercomputers in our pockets, smartphones, and suddenly, everything opened up. We weren't chained to TV schedules anymore. We weren't just passive consumers. We became creators. We started connecting on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, sharing our lives, thoughts, and passions. And in that moment, power shifted from big corporations to us. We gained control. We could skip ads, unfollow the noise, ignore the endless barrage of sales pitches. Gary Vaynerchuk saw this coming before almost anyone else. He realized the old playbook of just shouting and demanding attention was dead. To connect with people now, you couldn't just interrupt what they cared about. You had to become what they cared about. This is the book's entire philosophy in one nutshell. Jabs are the value you give your audience. A jab is content that makes someone laugh, think, play, or feel understood. A funny meme, a beautiful photo, an interesting article, a peek behind the curtain of your life. A jab doesn't ask for anything back. It's a gift, pure giving. A right hook, that's the ask, the call to action, the buy now, the sign up, the click this link, the punch that directly benefits you. Most people get this completely backward. Their social media is just an endless stream of right hooks. Sale today, new product, check our website. It's like talking to someone who only talks about themselves. You tune out, you leave the conversation. Vaynerchuk's genius was framing it with boxing. No fighter wins with only jabs. Eventually you need to ask for the sale. You have to throw that right hook. But here's the thing. The knockout has zero power without the setup. The sale means nothing without the story. Relationship first, always. The jabs create the conditions for the right hook to land, not as an annoying interruption, but as the natural next step in a conversation you've been having all along. But here's where the book goes from good to absolutely brilliant. It's not enough to just throw jabs. You need to throw the right kind of jabs, in the right way, in the right place, at the right time. This brings us to the most powerful concept in the entire book, native content. Vaynerchuk asks us to imagine every social media platform is like a different country. Each has its own language, culture, etiquette, and unique communication style. Think about it. You wouldn't walk into a quiet library in Kyoto and start screaming like you're at a football match in Sao Paulo, right? You wouldn't show up to a beach barbecue in a tuxedo. You'd look ridiculous. People would ignore you or think you're clueless. Yet this is exactly what most businesses do on social media. They create one generic piece of content and blast it everywhere, hoping it'll work on every platform. They're like those obnoxious tourists, speaking loudly in their own language and wondering why locals aren't responding. Creating native content means respecting the platform, learning the language and culture before you try to speak. It means crafting your story, your jabs, and your right hooks to fit perfectly into each environment. Content is king, Vaynerchuk says, but context is God. So let's take a world tour. Let's visit these different countries and learn their languages. First stop, Facebook. Think of Facebook as a cozy family dining room or comfortable living room. It's where you connect with friends and family. Personal. Emotional. People are there for pictures of their niece's first steps, updates on high school friends, shared stories. The native language of Facebook? Visual storytelling. Beautiful photos and short, engaging videos. Posts that feel human and personal, not corporate and cold. A great jab on Facebook tells a little story, evokes emotion, and belongs right next to a picture of your best friend's puppy. Vaynerchuk shows a brilliant example from Bud Light. Instead of a boring buy our beer ad, they posted a gorgeous photo of a single bottle in an epic snowy landscape with just 3 words, "Summer is coming." A clever Game of Thrones reference. Timely, visually stunning. A jab that entertained people and made them feel the brand got the joke. It spoke the language of pop culture, perfectly native to the platform. The opposite? An ad from Best Buy that looked like a cheap newspaper coupon with $7.99 with coupon plastered on it. Jarring. Like junk mail in your living room. A right hook that doesn't belong. Next, Twitter. If Facebook is the living room, Twitter is a massive, fast-paced cocktail party. Conversations everywhere, all at once. News breaking, jokes flying, loud, chaotic, and everything moves lightning fast. Twitter's native language isn't just what you say, it's about listening. Jumping into conversations already happening. Adding your unique perspective to topics everyone's discussing. Vaynerchuk calls this trendjacking. He tells the story of the 2013 Super Bowl when the power suddenly went out. The whole world watched, and for 34 minutes, everyone just waited in the dark, tweeting about the blackout. In that chaotic moment, Oreo's social media team saw an opportunity. They quickly created a simple image, a single Oreo in the dark with the caption, "Power out? No problem. You can still dunk in the dark." Genius. Perfectly native to the moment. Funny, clever, relevant. Not directly selling anything, but it became the best ad of the night, costing nothing but attention and effort. They listened to the cocktail party and dropped the perfect comment at the perfect time. That's a world-class jab. Most brands just blast out blog links on Twitter. They're the person at the party just handing out business cards, instead of having conversations. Now let's visit Pinterest. Pinterest isn't a party. It's more like a beautiful, curated dream board. A place of aspiration. People go there to plan weddings, design dream homes, find recipes for their ideal life. The platform is overwhelmingly visual, but the aesthetic differs from Facebook. Clean, glossy, beautiful. Like flipping through a high-end magazine. Pinterest's native language is beauty and utility. Your content must be stunning, high quality, inspiring, gorgeous photos. A jab on Pinterest isn't just a picture of your product. It's a picture of the life your product enables. A furniture company doesn't just pin a chair. They pin a breathtakingly beautiful reading nook, where that chair is the centerpiece. Selling the dream, not just the object. And because Pinterest users are there to plan and acquire, it's one of the few platforms where right hooks, pins with prices, and buy links are actually welcomed, as long as they're presented beautifully. Then there's Instagram. If Pinterest is a glossy magazine, Instagram is an art gallery. It began as a space for photographers and artists to share their work. The culture celebrates creativity, authenticity, and a slightly indie, artistic vibe. Stock photos and corporate ads feel incredibly out of place here. Instagram's native language is art. The best brands don't post ads. They post beautiful, artistic photographs that happen to feature their product. Visual storytelling that's cool and authentic. A great Instagram jab is a photo so beautiful or interesting, you forget it's from a brand. A hotel might post a breathtaking, artfully composed shot of a heart drawn in beach sand. It doesn't scream, "Book a room." It whispers, "This is where beautiful moments happen." A subtle, emotional jab, building the brand's identity as a place of beauty and romance. Hashtags on Instagram are crucial too. They're doorways letting new people discover your art. Finally, there's Tumblr. Vaynerchuk describes it as the indie rock club of the internet. Young, creative, with its own unique communication style. The animated GIF. A short, looping video clip that conveys emotion, jokes, or moments in ways static pictures can't. Tumblr's native language is movement, humor, and self-expression, a place where brands show personality and sense of humor. A great Tumblr jab might be a funny, looping GIF of a pancake being endlessly drizzled with syrup, posted by a diner like Denny's. Mesmerizing, fun, connecting with the quirky creative culture of the platform, content made specifically for that environment. Across all these platforms, the message stays the same. Stop making content. Start telling stories. And tell those stories in the native language of where your audience lives. But how do you know what stories to tell? Vaynerchuk lays out 6 rules for great content, regardless of platform. First, it's native. We've covered this. It fits the platform perfectly. Second, it doesn't interrupt. Great content doesn't feel like an ad stopping your experience. It is the experience. The Oreo tweet didn't interrupt the Super Bowl conversation. It became a highlight. Third, it doesn't make demands, at least not often. This is the core of jab, jab, jab philosophy. Give value, give value, give value. Be generous, funny, informative. Earn the right to ask for something later. Fourth, it leverages pop culture. Stay current with what people are talking about. TV shows, memes, news. Being relevant shows you're part of the same world as your audience. Fifth, it's micro. In our fast-scrolling world, content needs to be tiny, unique nuggets of information or humor. Think micro-content, not grand campaigns. A single perfect tweet. A 6-second Vine video. A beautiful Instagram photo. And sixth, it's consistent and self-aware. Every piece of micro-content, every jab, should reinforce who you are. Your brand's personality and core story must remain constant, even as you adapt your language for different platforms. At the heart of all this is one final crucial ingredient: effort. Vaynerchuk tells the story of boxer James "Buster" Douglas. In 1990, he was a massive underdog against the undefeated, seemingly invincible Mike Tyson. But Douglas trained like a man possessed. He studied Tyson, identified his flaws, and put in the work. He stepped into the ring and, in one of the biggest upsets in sports history, knocked out Mike Tyson. He won through sheer, relentless effort. But the story doesn't end there. 9 months later, Douglas defended his title against Evander Holyfield. He'd enjoyed his fame. Stopped training with the same intensity. He showed up out of shape. He was knocked out in the 3rd round. Effort, Vaynerchuk says, is the great equalizer. Doesn't matter if your competition is bigger or richer. What matters is the consistent effort you put into listening to your audience, crafting your stories, and engaging in conversations. Social media is a never-ending boxing match. You can't get lazy, can't rest on past wins. You have to keep jabbing, keep working, keep showing you care. That's the final piece. The right philosophy, jab, 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 right hook, combined with the right strategy, creating native content, and the right work ethic, relentless effort. When you bring these 3 together, you don't just get heard in a noisy world. You build a loyal community that trusts you, roots for you, and is ready and willing to be there when you finally, artfully, throw that perfect right hook. When you step back and look at jab, 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 right hook, you realize it's about something much deeper than selling things online. At its core, this book is about empathy, having the patience and respect to understand someone else's world before asking them to be part of yours. The philosophy of give, 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 ask isn't just a marketing tactic. It's a life principle. Think about your best relationships with friends, family. They aren't transactional. You don't keep a scoreboard of favors. You give your time, attention, and support because you care. And because you've built that foundation of trust and generosity, when you do need to ask for something, they're happy to help. The ask feels natural because the relationship is already there. What Gary Vaynerchuk did was apply this fundamental human truth to business and communication at a time when technology was making everyone more selfish, impatient, and demanding. He reminds us that behind every screen, every username, every profile picture is a real human being, someone who wants to be entertained, informed, connected, and valued, not sold to. The most powerful lesson in this book for me is respecting context. In a world constantly chasing the next shiny object, he tells us to slow down, observe, listen, understand the why behind each platform. Why do people go to Instagram? For beauty and art. Why Twitter? Speed and information. Why Facebook? Human connection. If you don't understand the why, your what, your content, will always fall flat. This is a profound lesson, not just for someone wanting to build a following, but for anyone who wants to communicate more effectively. Before you speak, listen. Before you ask, give. So how can you start applying this wisdom today? Here are a few simple actions. First, become an anthropologist. For the next 24 hours, just observe. Pick your favorite social media platform and don't post anything. Just scroll and pay attention. What's the unspoken language? What humor do people use? Are images polished or raw? What are people talking about? Just listen. You'll be amazed at what you learn when you're not focused on what you'll say next. Second, throw one perfect jab. Think of one person or group you want to connect with. Create or share one piece of content that's purely a gift for them. No strings attached. A funny video you know will make your friend laugh, an article that'll genuinely help someone, or a beautiful photo that brings a moment of joy. Do it with the sole intention of adding value to their day. See how it feels. Third, analyze the pros. Find a brand or person you admire on social media. Look at their last 10 posts. Just count. How many are jabs? How many are right hooks? You'll start seeing this pattern everywhere. You'll begin understanding, intuitively, who's building a community and who's just shouting into the void. In the end, this book is a hopeful and empowering guide to a world that can feel overwhelming and cynical. It tells us the way to win isn't by being the loudest, but by being the most generous. It's about understanding that attention is a gift, and trust must be earned, one jab at a time. A reminder that in this fast-paced digital age, the most timeless human qualities, patience, empathy, and generosity, are more valuable than ever. That was a summary of Jab, 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 Right Hook by Gary Vaynerchuk. We've touched on the core ideas today, but honestly, a summary can only ever be a map. The real treasure is found when you take the journey yourself. The true value of a book like this comes alive in the details, the specific case studies, the subtle insights, and the moments where a particular example clicks and changes how you see everything. This summary is your guide to decide if this book is worth your time. If anything we've talked about today sparks something in you, I encourage you to grab a copy. Reading it isn't just about learning a new strategy. It's about experiencing a shift in perspective that can genuinely change how you communicate and connect in every area of your life. The link to the book is in the description. Also, if you found this journey valuable, please click that like button and subscribe to the channel. It lets me know we're on the right path and ensures you won't miss our next exploration into another life-changing book from the billionaire's bookshelf. Let's keep learning and growing together.